Hey, what's going, guys? This is Malcolm Plays here, and well, it's time for Hoenn. And I must say, this one's going to be a bit of a big endeavor, and will probably be the longest video in the series, but it is important to consider that this one will be pretty lengthy, to say the least, because for the other regions, I have this many I'm going to fix. And here's the thing, I haven't started on making Gen 5 and Gen 4s next, but, well, yeah, also, as you can tell, Mighty Anna's kind of glitched right now. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, anyways, I have all these Pokemon to fix, and, yeah, some of these are minor, like giving them new abilities and such, and some are, you know, obviously stat changes. And to start off, I'm going to lay a bit of a ground rule. If it's a Pokemon that's in a pair, like Plusle and Minun, they're just going to share, or like me talking about them at the same time, they're just going to share that slot. That way it doesn't take too long. Same with Mega Evolutions, I'll do the same thing with that, like as if they were a regional form. And finally, I'm just going to cover Sceptile right now, because, let me be honest, y'all know what's going to be. It's just going to be Draco Meteor, because it has a Dragon-type Mega. That is it. That's the only buff Sceptile gets. I don't need to really cover Sceptile in this video. You all know what he's getting. He's just getting Draco Meteor. I've done this for Charizard, Ampharos, technically for Alligator. Now it's time for the final one who actually would benefit the most from it, and that's Sceptile. So, yeah, anyways. I have all these to cover, and yeah, this is going to be a lengthy video. I think there's like at least 20 Pokemon, maybe more here. And some of them, like, if it's an entire evolutionary line, I will try to cover them as a pair as well, since it would make the video a tad shorter, but that'll probably only work if it's a 2-stage, like Claydol and Baltoy, and not lines like Trapinch to Flygon, or Ralts to Gardevoir. So, yeah. Anyways, well, I guess that's the introduction of this video. I know this is a bit of a weird change of pace, but yeah, like, I have so many Pokemon to cover for this episode, but anyways, I hope you all enjoy this the same way, and I really do hope that you all leave some suggestions in these videos for other Pokemon to change, that if I didn't cover them, I'll cover them then. For example, if someone comments for me to buff Mantine, I'll add it into a bonus video where I cover Pokemon I have yet to cover because they came up with a good idea on how to buff it. So yeah, I'll see you all in just a second. Okay, so as past me already said, we already talked about Sceptile, just getting Draco Meteor, nothing crazy. Now, I will also say this. If you guys have any other ideas on how to buff Sceptile or Blaziken and Swampert, you can tell me in the comments and I'll add that too. Do it, or again, you can guys suggest any Pokemon I have yet to talk about. So now then, let's start off with the Mighty Anna line, because I'm also buffing Poochyena, as you guys saw on the stage. Now, Poochyena, and Mighty Anna now get access to Knockoff and Jaw Lock via Egg moves. So that is a very significant buff, because, as again, Mighty Anna could use them for various means, like preventing you from switching out, or knocking off an item, and it'd make him more usable. In the same way that his new ability, Strong Jaw, will be useful, because Mighty Anna gets buffed with Strong Jaw now. And he has a lot of biting moves already, so I feel like this made sense. And then the final thing, I boosted Mighty Anna's attack to 105 and his speed to 90. So he's a tad faster, and he hits a lot harder. Not too much to make him overpowered or broken, he's still pretty much a glass cannon, and especially since his defenses aren't that good, which I only buffed his special defense to 65, I forgot to mention that, so kind of meh with that buff, but at the same time, it's not the craziest thing in the world. Like, it's at most pretty standard buff, not gonna lie, and it would make the entire evolutionary line just really, like, better up to scale, to say the least. That's the best I got to say here. Now next up is the entirety of the Gardevoir line. And technically delayed, but we're not in Gen 4, so bear with me. Now, starting off, all of them are just getting stat boosts. And they're all going to be displayed on the screen one at a time, but all the images will just be there, so I don't have to transition through them, so yeah. Starting with Ralts. It is abysmal at 198 base stat total. And it's not a baby Pokemon. It is a first stage you can catch in the wild. It needs to be stronger. So, to balance it out and make it a bit better than what it usually was, its stat buff is pretty significant. Starting off, its HP is now 48 instead of 28. This is important. Because, like, the first 3 stats are all in 20s, then the rest were in 40 and 30s, so yeah. His attack, not his, their attack is 45, their defense is 40, their special attack is 65, their special defense is 55, and his speed is now 45. So again, not the biggest change, but also this was desperately necessary. It's like Pikachu all over again. Because comparing it to like future Pokemon of the similar niche that is Gardevoir's design, like Gothitelle, for example, or Hatterene, Ralts is so just abysmally weak, especially because it's not just Ralts, it's also Kirlia. Like, both of them are significantly weak. Like, Kirlia, like, doesn't get that isn't that strong. Like, I gave Ralts' special attack the same amount of points as Kirlia's special attack. So it's just kind of sad, to say the least. Now, Kirlia, I buffed in the same vein. We're starting off with its stat, with HP again, because instead of being 38, it's now 68. Its attack is now 50, defense is now 60, its special attack is now 85, its special defense is 70, and its speed is 60. This makes it on par with a mid-stage starter Pokemon, and that was the plan. The plan is to make them feel like starter Pokemon and not like abysmally weak, because again, Kirlia just for some reason this week, and it just makes no sense to me. It's not even like comparable to like a first stage Route 1 Pokemon at best. It's like there's that would be like a first stage Route 1 Pokemon that could beat it in a fight, and that's kind of sad to me. Which is why I buffed it, of course. Which now leads us to Gardevoir. Now, with Gardevoir, there wasn't really much to buff since it's already pretty strong as it is. Pardon me. But I buffed it anyways, because I wanted it, again, to feel like more of a starter Pokemon. So, its base stat total is now going to get buffed to like 530 or 535. So, starting off with it's the thing I buffed. I boosted its speed to 90, and that was it. That's all I changed for Gardevoir. Its speed is now 90, which puts it at 528 in terms of a base stat total, but it's not that bad because it's meant to feel similar to a starter Pokemon, not be exactly like one. And there are starter Pokemon that are like 525 BST, or that's like something similar, like the evolutions. So it's on par with them, I guess, but it's closer to a starter Pokemon in the long run. But yeah, however, I also buffed Mega Gardevoir since I also buff that as well, because if you change one thing, you have to change it. So what I did is swapped the attack and defense stat so that Mega Gardevoir's attack stat is 65 and the defense is 85. And then I add 10 points to speed again, so it's 110 speed. Again, nothing crazy, but also it just makes Gardevoir more of a tank and also makes him move a bit quicker, or despite the fact that Mega Gardevoir is in a very big dress, but at the same time, I feel like just making it a little faster will benefit Gardevoir competitively, as well as in general, just make it better. Okay. This is gonna take a lot out of me because of how long I'm gonna have to talk. So yeah, a lot of this will probably be cut out and spliced up anyways. Pardon me. Next up, Masquerain. Now, Masquerain, I didn't do anything ability-wise, but in terms of stats, I buffed its speed to 101, which makes sense to me. It should move a bit faster. And it's not the biggest change, like, again. At the same time, something moving this fast is, with Intimidate, is actually pretty terrifying, to say the least. And again, like, it's not going to make it hit harder, because it hits pretty hard with 100 special attack, but, like, make it move incredibly fast makes it pretty decent. Well, I don't seem to see anything that I changed regarding its movesets. Or anything of the sort, so we're gonna move on. Okay. Next up, Breloom. I know you may be thinking, why does Breloom need a buff? Well, to simply put it, because I think it would benefit it in the long run. And to get a small buff, nothing significant, like for example, something small like boosting its special attack and special defense to 65, that's reasonable. And then I boosted its speed to 100. Which again, that sounds a bit much. Maybe I'll reduce it to 95 if you guys tell me that's a bit much. But I think it's pretty good. This makes it space stat total 100 exact, so it's, again, nothing too crazy, but like, it's a buff regardless. Like, it already hits pretty hard, and making it move fast just doesn't seem to make things balanced, which is why I think they stuck with giving it 70 speed. But the reason why I gave it 100 speed is because I felt like it needed to make sense. Like, it has Mach Punch, so that means it can go like fast for a moment to attack, which is why it has priority. It also has Stretchy Limbs, which, okay, sure. But regardless, I buffed it in that vein, and now Breloom will become a menace in competitive with 100 base speed. And yeah, although Breloom already had a lot going for him, like it was like a perfect Spore Pokemon that you can use to false swipe a Pokemon down and catch him. So it's good false swiper, but that's not what we're doing. We just made it absolutely broken at that point, which again is perfectly fine, because it's still quad weak to fly. But anyways, we're moving on now. We're moving on. Stop talking about Ring. Now, next up is Exploud, and I only gave it a buff in defense by 20. I gave it 83 defense, which seems a bit random, but considering that normal is weak to fighting and most fighting type attacks tend to be physical, he kind of needs it. And, well, it's not the biggest change, again, but it makes it pair nicely with its 104 HP, and 73 special defense is kind of, like, really good. Good for something of Exploud's caliber, to say the least. So, buffing its defenses just makes sense to me. And now, moving on to Delcatty, which, to be frank, Delcatty got a lot going for it. Okay, so I didn't change its abilities because that would strip Delcatty of its uniqueness, like having Wonder Skin and Normalize, which I'm pretty sure is exclusive to them. So starting off with stats, I boosted its speed to 110, its special defense to 75, its defense to 75, and its HP to 80. So it's a bit faster, slightly more of a tank, and while that does seem to be the most regarding stats, I did give it a couple extra moves it can learn at level 1, I think. it gets Memento and Encore now as well. So you're gonna have to use a heart scale to go grab that, I assume, or just get a move relearner. But yeah, because for some reason Delcatty doesn't have a level up moveset. All they have is level 1 moves. Kind of weird, but okay. So yeah, now it has access to Encore Memento, which would give it something, I guess, like Encore to stall and Memento to just KO yourself in exchange for dropping attacking stats, I guess. Next up is both Sableye and Mawile. Now, I know this is a weird pairing, but at the same time, they are a set. You know, Mawile and Sableye are counterparts, so let's just start there. So, we're going to start with Sableye, and then we're going to move on to Mawile, which I did also buff their Megas, because you have to. If you buff them, you have to buff their Mega. That's just how I roll. And yes, this does mean Mega Mawile and Mega Sableye will be a tad stronger, but not super strong. Keep that in mind as well. So, they already have like 380 BST, but now let's show you what I did to buff them. Starting off with HP. Sableye now has 60 HP. Its defense is now 95. Its special attack and special defense is now 85. And that's pretty good, actually, because it makes it just like a weaker Spirit Tomb, because it has like 50 speed still, and still hits as hard with physical attacks, being 75, but like, it's just a meh Spirit Tomb. Has Mega Sableye. Yeah, Mega Sableye also got a pretty significant buff. That being that its defense is now 145, its special defense is 135, its HP, of course, is 60, but its special attack is 105. So, this means that Sableye now has a niche, somewhat, to attack you with. And because, well, its original attack and special attack were 85, I feel like Mega Sableye would be more of the special attacker between it and Mega Mawile, so I just made Sableye more of a special attacker, or to say the least, because I feel like it made more sense to have them be counterparts using different stats. But next up, Mawile. Mawile got something relatively similar in the long run. Again, they're counterparts, so yeah. Again, starting with HP, Mawile has 60 HP just like Sableye. It has 105 defense, it has 85 special defense, and 65 special attack. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, nothing too crazy. They're, again, relatively decent stats, to say the least. I mean, it keeps the same attack and speed, so still slow, but now it's had bulkier, and hits a little harder especially, but it's not going to use that ever, to say the least. However, Mega Mawile, again, got a similar buff to normal Mega, got a similar buff to Mega Sableye. That being its HP and special attack are now 60 and 65 respectively. Its defense is now 145, and its special defense is now 125. So yeah, they're relatively similar regarding stats, it's just one's more physical, one's more special, which makes sense. Next up on our list is Aggron. Now, the thing is, did I do anything? Yeah, I did buff normal Aggron too. Okay, okay. So, with normal Aggron, I added 10 points to special defense, making it spaced out total 540, which is on par with Haxorus in terms of base stat total, because I feel like they should at least be similar to Haxorus, and not a starter Pokemon. Because again, they're both just really cool looking. I feel like they should be stronger than starter Pokemon in a way. And while this does seem like something that doesn't make sense at first, like why didn't I decrease its defense and plug it into special defense. I just feel like the defense is something it should keep. Now, with Mega Aggron, it got a tad slower, making it 30 base speed, perfect for any Trick Room teams. And its special defense is now 110. So now it's a lot more bulky, especially. Like 110 special defense, plus filter. Pretty terrifying to say the least. Still gonna take a lot of hits specially, but not many. So there's that. So yeah, Mega Aggron has 110 special defense. In exchange for 20 points from its speed. Again, perfect for Trick Room teams. You know, you can use Heavy Slam it with it and stuff like that. So it works in the end. Next up is both Plusle and Minun. Because, well, again, they're counterparts. And in terms of stats, they got relatively similar buffs. It's just flipped in a way. So, for example, Plusle has 10 extra points to its attack and special attack, and 5 points to speed. With also 10 extra points to special defense. While as for Minun, one second, don't know why it's down here. There we go. Now we gotta go to Minun. Okay, yeah. Now Minun has the reverse of that, where it has 10 extra points in defense, 5 extra points in HP, 10 extra points in special attack, and 10 extra points in special defense. So it's Plusle meant to be more fast and offensive, while Minun is more a tad slower and a bit more defensive, which fits their roles. Which, again, pretty standard buff, but also gives them a bit more personality, like having one be a tad bit slower but a bit bulkier, because that's kind of what Minun is. Even though it has 95 speed, but now has 65 HP, while Plusle has 60 HP but 100 speed, so yeah. Now, next up is a big one. Especially because it's two Pokemon that a lot of people forget exist. So I'm going to have to talk about them a lot. Those being Volbeat and Illumise. Now, starting with Volbeat, which, believe it or not, I had to change a lot. Starting off, I swapped its defense and special defense, which is all I did really for its stats. But in terms of the rest I did for it, well, let's just say it's gonna be a lot. First of all, it's now part electric type, which at first makes no sense, but you're gonna have to bear with me here. So, again, it's now a part electric type, meaning its move pool should have electric moves. So, those moves are going to be the following, and then we're going to move on to Illumise, which gets something similar. Starting off, if you hatch one from an egg, it's now going to have charge at level 0 as soon as it hatches. It's going to have charge as a move. Then at level 15, it's going to get Thunder Shock. I don't know why it has Tail Glow at level 22. Again, like, I'm not joking. Like, if you go to Scarlet and Violet, it gets Tail Glow at level 22. It has 47 special attack. It doesn't need it. But anyways, it gets Thunderbolt at level 29. It gets Thunderbolt level 29. And it gets Wild Charge at level 47. So, yeah. I also removed Infestation at level 47 and put it in with its level 0 moves. So, instead of having just Tackle at level 1, it has Tackle, Charge, and Infestation. Which is pretty solid-ish, to say the least. Like, Infestation is not the strongest move, so there's that at least. And now, did I do anything regarding abilities before I move on to Illumise? Or Illumise, or whatever. Illuminates, one, yeah, okay, no. And now, moving on to Illumise, which is now part fairy. And in regards to stats, I did not change much. Actually, I didn't change the stats at all. The Volbeat thing just made no sense, so I swapped its defense and special defense. Because I feel like Illumise should be the more special-based one, while Volbeat should be the more physical-based one, so that's why I swapped Volbeat's special defense and defense. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyways, again, I did nothing regarding abilities. Let's move on to its new Bug Fairy type and, well, its new moves. Starting at level 0, or I guess the whole one, it now has Infestation and Stat Tackle, and also has Disarming Voice. So, level 1 moveset, Play Nice, Infestation, Disarming Voice. No instance of Tackle. Now, at level 17, it will get Draining Kiss, which is pretty solid. At level 47, instead of Infestation, and now it's Moonblast. Also, I did give them egg moves. I did change both their egg moves, where the egg move for Illumise is Tail Glow, and the egg move for Volbeat is Wish, so they can use that. You can use each other's moves and stuff. I know not the biggest change, but like, it makes sense, it works. Next up is Swalot. Again, I didn't really want to talk about those two for that long. But anyways, next up is Swalot, which, to be honest, I just buffed its defenses by 10. That is it. I just buffed the defenses by 10. Which, again, not the craziest thing, but at the same time, making it a tad bit more tanky for a slow poison type who has 2 weaknesses, right? Because that's all, yeah, 2 weaknesses. I think you need to be a tad bit more bulky just so you can last a little longer. So yeah, it's now 93 in both defenses. Next up is Sharpedo, specifically Mega Sharpedo. Not any other Sharpedo, just not base Sharpedo, just regular Sharpedo. And that's because Mega Sharpedo gains 110, goes up from 95 special attack to 110 special attack. Which made no sense to me. Because Sharpedo is more or less known for its 140 attack. It's not going to use Scald, it's going to use Liquidation. So it took 15 points away from its special attack, making it now 95, and plugged that into speed, making it 120. Mega Sharpedo is now a little bit is now a lot faster, and now can pair nicely with Speed Boost if you use Protect and wait a turn before Mega Evolving it. So there's that. And no, I am not going to give Mega Sharpedo Speed Boost. It's keeping Strong Jaw. Now, next up is another long list, but not really. Because it's the entirety of the Trapinch, Vibrava, and Flygon. It's the Flygon line. And the biggest buff is just giving them all abilities. Like, if you go to Trapinch, it has 3 abilities, but the rest of its line doesn't, making Trapinch the only member of its line with a hidden ability, which I did change from Sheer Force to Sandveil. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, I understand, like, Sheer Force is pretty good, but at the same time, you're going to evolve into Flygon. You're not going to really need this. This, especially because you have Arena Trap and Hyper Cutter right there. And there's no point in getting a hidden ability Trapinch, unless you're doing a run of just Sheer Force Trapinch. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Sheer Force is now replaced with Sandveil, but other two, those being Vibrava and Flygon, now also get new abilities and not just Levitate. But yeah, so now, Vibrava has Arena Trap and Sandveil as abilities. These as well. And for Flygon, I did the same thing, except instead of Sand Veil, it's Sandstream, making Hoenn ability Flygon a sand setter, sets up sandstorms and everything. So, yeah, and plus I think it makes sense because Flygon itself is known to summon sandstorms by flapping its wings. Which leads us to the final thing I did for Flygon, that being buffing its stats, just a tiny bit. So it has 95 special attack and 105 attack, making it now, again, 540, which is the same as Haxorus. The reason why I buffed the special attack is because it has a lot of powerful moves it can utilize, like Boom Burst and Hyper Voice, Dragon Pulse. So making it kind of a mixed attacker, but primarily physical, works, especially if you have a modest Flygon and you don't want to deal with getting intimidated. There's that. It also makes Earth Power stronger, which is good. Next up is Altaria and Mega Altaria. Because of course, I have to buff Mega Altaria if I buff normal Altaria. Now, let's go up and talk about this. Again, I only did stats, again. Now, I didn't... Oh, did I not change anything? I don't think I changed anything with normal Altaria. It was a move or something. I'm not sure. Nope, nothing with abilities. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to normal Altaria, to Mega Altaria now. I'm sorry. Never mind, it's just Mega Altaria I buff, apparently. That being said, sorry. It lost 10 speed, so now it's 70 base speed, because I feel like all the cotton would weigh it down a bit. It lost a lot of its attack, making it now 60, and now it's 65, 165 special attack, and also gained 5 points in special defense, making it now 110 special defense. So yeah, Altaria hits a lot more specially, and it's a tad bit more defensive and a little slower, but again, it's not the worst thing. And I guess technically, by buffing Mega Altaria, you're buffing Altaria, so yeah. Anyways, next up is Solrock and Lunatone, because I don't know how to buff Seviper and Zangoose. I want your guys' opinion on that one. So, again, and they got the same buff, Solrock and Lunatone, it just flipped. So, for example, Solrock now gets 20 extra points in physical attacks, which makes a lot of its rock moves stronger unless you have Meteor Beam or Power Gem, which is pretty fine, to say the least. Meanwhile, Solrock has the opposite, where it has 20 extra points in special attack, making its special moves like Solar Beam, Fire Blast, Power Gem, Psychic, make all those stronger. Because again, Solrock doesn't really have any physical moves except for Zen Headbutt. I don't know if it gets Psycho Cut at all. I think it does. Let me check actually, since I'm on it. Nope, its only physical option in regards to a stab psychic move is Zen Headbutt. Maybe I should give it Psycho Cut. Maybe. I'll debate on that later. The next up is the Baltoy line, which, both of them got the same buff in regards to a moveset change. So we're going to start with that. They now have Hypnosis at level 1, because I don't know why they don't know Hypnosis. Almost every psychic type does. But it also gives them a niche since they have these, for specifically Claydol, they have those multiple eyes, so I feel like if you spin its head around while also using Hypnosis, it would like hypnotize people. Also, it just looks like extraterrestrial, so you might get hypnotized by its appearance and questioning everything. Okay, we're gonna go to sorry, one sec. Yeah. Yeah, Sword and Shield. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I also give access to Meteor Beam. Because again, it kind of looks extraterrestrial, and I feel like it could use it. Like, Meteor Beam on both of them just sounds pretty good. In the long run. It just sounds really good on both. And yeah, I did the same thing for Claydol, just double checking seeing that. But now it's time for Claydol's other buff, that being abilities, because both of them also got new abilities. They not just levitate like Flygon anymore. So for Baltoy, they have No Guard and Regenerator, and same goes for Claydol. They also have No Guard and Regenerator. Which again, seems strange, but I think it works for them. Like, No Guard. Like, I'm pretty sure they're like the guardians of temples or something like that, so... Oh, maybe. And since they're made of clay, I can picture them regenerating themselves with more clay. I know it's hard in clay, but like still, they can rebuild their bodies. Some, I think, maybe. Like, they do no explosion, which does require them to blow up, so I feel like they can regenerate their bodies somehow. Yeah. Anyways, I also buffed its stats, I think. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot again. Yeah, I buffed its, HP to 80, its attack and special attack to 80, and its defense is now 110. So, yeah, there goes it for Claydol and everything. Which now leads us to the biggest change. Cast form. Specifically, all of its forms. For you see, when Cast4 changes forms, it doesn't change anything at all. So, I changed that. Starting off with base form Cast form, where it loses 10 in its defenses and adds 90 to speed. Which is simple enough. Not really a big change there for base Cast form. However, for Hail form Cast form, it now has 90 attack, 50 defenses, meaning both defense and special defense are 50, 120 special attack, and 100 speed. Which is a very significant buff for Ice Cast. Now for Rainy Cast form, it's now 50 HP, 110 defense, 80 special attack, 120 special defense, and 50 speed. Which doesn't seem like a lot for speed, but at the same time it's a lot bulkier and hits a tad harder, which is fine. Because again, Ice is meant to be a glass cannon, Rain's a bit more defensive since it's malleable in various ways with water. And it leaves us Sun, which is the most meh, like not really the biggest change, where it has 90 attack, 80 defenses, and 100 special attack. So kind of middle of the ground, not the biggest change, but also like it works. Works since I wanted them all to be distinct, so making this one just essentially just a better middle ground of defensive and offensive is something that makes sense for me. Especially with Ice being fast and Rain being slow. So yeah. Next up is Banette. I didn't change Kecleon because I didn't know what to do for Kecleon, so again, leave that in the comments of how you would buff Kecleon. Now anyways, Banette. How to fix Banette. Starting off with immediately changing a lot about it with its why did I scroll so far up? I needed its stats. Starting off, I gave it 103 special attack and 70 speed. So it's a tad faster, it's a lot better specially. And it's because I feel like Banette could benefit from being slightly a mixed attacker, but not really. It could be primarily physical, but it can use special moves every now and then. But now, going to its Mega is now Ghost Dark, so essentially just another situation of making it another Ghost Dark type kind of a thing, I guess. Anyways, I buffed its special attack again to 113 and buffed its speed to 80. So, again, attack slower, hits better specially. I know it's not the biggest buff for Mega Banette, but being a tad bit faster helps in the long run. And also getting a better defensive typing makes it also a lot more thematic, because I can picture its dark type nature being born from that malice of being thrown away. It has a plushie before, because that's its lore. So I could see that being the reason why it's now dark type. Okay, we're almost done. Thank goodness, because we're getting down to the wire here. Because I didn't have any changes for Absol, because I'm waiting for its other Mega to join the roster of Pixelmon before I buff Absol. I'm not going to talk about Glalie, because I feel like Glalie's actually pretty decent, and not talk about Roll Rain, because Roll Rain is just built different and is actually good. So next up is Huntail and Gorobus. Now, for Huntail, I took 10 away from its special attack and gave it to its attack, which is a bit of a not really significant buff, but also like it's a bit more thematic, with like Huntail being more physical based, is judging from its attack stat, and also its various variety of physical moves like Sucker Punch, Dive, and Aqua Tail. I get it has a Brine and Hydro Pump, but at the same time, it has Dive and Aqua Tail, which are stronger than Brine on various occasions. It also has Sucker Punch priority. Plus, it also has Coil, which boosts attack, defense, and accuracy, so it really is built to be Coil Aqua Tail based. Well, as for Gorobus got a lot changed, really, because, to put it simply, I swapped its defense and special defense, because that made no sense why Gorobus was so physically defensive. Genuinely. Like, why does Gorobus have 105 defense, which is the same as Huntail? So I feel like to make them more comparable, you swap that, and that makes Gorobus more of a special wall and not physical. It also makes them better counterparts. Which is also why I buffed Huntail's physical attack, since it compares to Gorobus' stats, which are 85 attack and 114 special attack, so if you flip it, you get Huntail. So yeah. I didn't do anything else, right? Yep, okay. This leaves us to Love Disc, the Pokemon that is notoriously known for, yes, it needs a buff right now. It needs to be buffed. So, starting off, I gave it a new Hoenn ability, and made Hydration just a secondary ability. Its Hoenn ability is now Friend Guard, which is already pretty good. And in terms of its stats, I couldn't really fix it a lot, so bear with me. Its HP is now 58, its special attack is now 75, and that's it. I basically just buffed its special attack and HP. And I'm not going to change its speed because it has Swift Swim to pair well with Rain, which makes it a lot faster. And it's also a Fairy type, which means to pair well with its new Fairy type move, its new Fairy typing, it needs, well, better moves, to say the least. And now going into discussion with that, it now learns Dazzling Gleam via TM, which is a very significant thing. It's very significant. And it also has access to Play Rough, which, again, doesn't really change it much as 30 attack, but also I feel like I need it to make sense. Like, I know it shouldn't make sense, but at the same time, like, I feel like it would be interesting to see it added to the move pool because it's now a Fairy type. Lastly, in terms of its level up moves, I did Yeah, in terms of its level up moves, I did not change anything. Okay, I was just making sure. Oh no, wait, I added Lovely Kiss back because they got rid of it. So yeah, it now has Lovely Kiss at level 1. Which works well with it. I mean, its level up move set literally adds Draining Kiss and Sweet Kiss, so might as well add Lovely Kiss to add to it. And this leads us to the final Pokemon. Yes, it's that time we talk about Deoxys, which is all just abilities. Yes, all of them just get an ability change. To say the least. Starting off with base form Deoxys. And now I'm not changing the stats of Deoxys because I want it to still feel like Deoxys, so I'm just buffing stat. I'm just changing abilities because all of them have pressure and I want them to be unique and feel like, depending on the form, he adapted to change. So here we go. So normal form Deoxys now has natural cure. So if you switch out, you get cured of your status condition, which seems pretty handy. For a lot of situations, like if you're burned because you have 150 attack. So there's that. Attack from Deoxys now has the ability. One second, I'm scrolling down still. Now has download as its ability, as if it's adapting to its opponent. So it has download with attack from Deoxys, which again has 180 attack and 180 special attack. No one is safe if he gets a buff. And next up is defense from Deoxys, which, put bluntly, is actually the most well-built of each of them. Like, reasonably fast, decently hits hard, very bulky, love it. I gave it Overcoat, meaning it's immune to Spore and Powder moves. It's also immune to Sandstorm. Pretty solid, and makes sense because it looks like it's an astronaut, like wearing a suit to protect it from the elements and stuff, so I feel like that made sense. And lastly, Speed. Now, before you say anything, I did not give Speed from Deoxys Speed Boost. That would be atrocious. I would not do such a thing. However, I instead gave it Adaptability because it doesn't hit hard at all. So giving it Adaptability makes sense. So that way, to off-put its, not gonna lie, mediocre defenses and attack, and abysmal HP, it now its moves are slightly stronger from adapting during the fight, because it's moving so fast. Because it knows it's not going to hit as hard, so it should put a little bit more power behind that. So, yeah, I know it seems strange, but at the same time, what else really can I do for it? I'm not going to give it speed boost, so I'm going to give it adaptability. And that covers basically all the Pokemon of Hoenn that I'm changing. Again, if you guys have anything you want to suggest in the comments, let me know. Again, I'm sorry for all the pauses and maybe abrupt cuts in the video because I'm going to cut out some of the stuff I said because it's just not important to it, and it's probably just me complaining that I'm talking too much. But anyways, past me. Do the outro. Also, that was a clap if that didn't pick up on the mic. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. See you all in the outro. Anyways, guys, that was the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I guess next up is Sinnoh, and we all know how that's gonna turn out. And stuff, because let me be very clear. Sinnoh's like super short compared to these guys, because I think Sinnoh got like most of the Pokemon right? And the buffs I would give to certain ones are just, it just doesn't seem reasonable. So I just, you get the point. You this series is 3 episodes in, and that episode 4 is not going to be a big change. It's probably going to be like half the amount I covered today, and then I have Gen 5 and 6 to work on for buffs. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you all next episode. Take care. See you in Gen 4, I guess. And yeah, again, leave comments on potential Pokemon I could buff or fix in whatever way, shape, or form. So yeah, take care and peace out. Bye.